Okay, let's go.
Jazzy Joe's Autograph Adventures.
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Jazzy Joe's Autograph Adventures, where I show you, based on a top 10 theme every episode, I show you 10 autographs of 10 legendary artists. And before we go on, let me once again thank you all. Thank you very much. Thank you for all the love and support and feedback that you have given me for the previous episodes. It keeps me going on. It gives me enthusiasm to do more, to try to make it better. Yeah, so once again, thank you very much. In this episode, we feature the top 10 legendary Indian pop music artists who have been rocking India since the 80s, and they have won hearts all over the world. And let's start with an artist whom we lovingly call Didi, or elder sister, and who has been singing since even before I was born. Yes, I am talking about the inimitable Usha Uthup, an Indian pop, jazz and playback singer who sang songs in the late 1960s, 70s and 80s. Usha Uthup began her music career in Chennai in 1969 from clubs like Nine Gems, Trinkas, and also Talk of the Town in Mumbai. She started her Bollywood career with the 1970s movie Bombay Talkies and gave her voice to hits like Hare Rama Hare Krishna, One Two Cha Cha Cha, Hari Om Hari, Doston Se Pyar Kiya, Ramba Ho Samba Ho, Koi Yahan Nache Nache, Nakabandi, and Darling. Apart from films, she has released many pop albums too. Awarded the Padma Shri, Usha Uthup sings in more than 13 Indian and 8 foreign languages. She is a stage performer and has given performances all over the world and is known for her very lively stage presence. I met Usha Uthup ji twice in Delhi during her shows. She had come to Delhi for her shows, and both times she was very happy, very amazed to see her records, and she signed all of them, all the records that I had, and she signed them very happily, looked at each record, quite happy about it. And the record I want to show all of you is this one. I chose this record because it has a wonderful, beautiful cover, and it is a unique record in the sense that it is called Usha in Nairobi. It has songs from her Nairobi tour, where she sang Malaika with Farili William, and this has 11 songs from her tour with the backup of 3 musicians from the Nairobi-based Felini 5. And our next artist is an artist whom I've been a fan of for more than 3 decades now. He started his career as a part of a band called The Beat 4 and wrote his first song at the age of 14. He plays the flute, he plays the guitar, and he built a whole song, 15-minute song, around one line of lyrics and scatting, and it was an amazing song. And I hope you know whom I'm talking about. I'm talking about Remo Fernandez. Known as a pioneer of Indian pop music, Remo performs pop, rock, Indian fusion, and is also a film playback singer. His musical work is a fusion of many different cultures and styles that he has been exposed to as a child in Goa and in his later travels around the world. He now writes and sings his songs in 5 different languages: English, Hindi, French, Portuguese, and Konkani. Remo, also awarded the Padma Shri, is known for his albums Gone Crazy, Old Gone Gold, Pack That Smack, Bombay City, Politicians Don't Know How to Rock and Roll, Oh Meri Munni, and the recent Teresa and the Slum Bum. And also for movies like Jalwa, Trikal, Bombay, Pyar To Hona Hi Tha, and many others. Another favorite of his on dance floors around India is the flute song, also called Flute Kick. Now, Remo and me go a long way back. I met him a couple of times, and I remember the first time I met him was at a coffee shop at Le Meridian Hotel in New Delhi. I was the DJ there, and I was there in the evening, and I saw him sitting in the coffee shop, and this was someone I've been a fan of, you know. So I went up, I approached him, and I said, "Hi, my name is Joe, Jazzy Joe, and I'm the DJ here, and I'm a big fan. So can I just say hi to you?" So he said, "Yeah, why not? Why don't you join me? Sit, join me." So I sat down and we started talking. So during the conversation, he's asking me, "What are you doing so early in the hotel? I thought DJs came at night." I said, "Yeah, I came early because I have to record a radio program. I used to record a program for FM stereo, Times Music. It was called CJ's Times. CJ's was my club and Times was for Times FM. So I used to record that program. So I told him that I've come to record that at the club." So he said, "Wow, you do a radio show?" I said, yeah, I do." And then it just came to me. I said, "Remo, if you have some time, why don't you join me? Just say hi to my listeners, just for 5 minutes or something." So he said, "Yeah, okay. Just give me 5-10 minutes. I'll just finish, and come down." I said, "Okay, wonderful." So I went down. I opened the club, and I prepared everything, and he was there. And by luck, by chance, my cameraman was also there. Those were the times when we did not have mobiles and cameras in every mobile. So if you wanted to take photos, you had to call a photographer, with the camera. And luckily, I found him in the hotel. He was there to do something in the banquet. So I told him, "Hey, can you come with me for a few minutes? Remo is going to come down. If you can take a few snaps." So he said, "Yeah, sure, why not?" So everything just flowed, and Remo came down, and in 5 minutes he joined me through the second half of the program, and it was fantastic, to say the least. I mean, here I had someone I was in awe of, I was a fan of, and he's presenting my radio program with me. The second half was about 25 minutes, and we had a great time, as you can see in the photographs. And then once again, I had one extra day. I was in Mumbai. So I said, "Let me go and meet Remo. Let me go and say hi to him." So I took the bus, went to Goa, met him for about 1 hour, and then came back. And he was damn surprised. He said, "What, you came to Goa just for an hour, just to meet me?" I said, "Yeah, I just felt like it." I said, "Let me say hi to you." And that was another time. And the record I would like to show you is a very, very special record, because this is a song that changed the way music was looked at. Soundtracks were looked at. Movie songs were looked at. Because here was a 15-minute song in a soundtrack which had only one line of lyric. And the rest was all scatting. It was all scatting. And it was a flute and other instruments all played by one man. The whole song was a concept by one man, Remo Fernandez. And this is the record and the movie in which it featured. This is the soundtrack of the movie Jalwa. It had a lot of other songs also by Remo Fernandez and other singers. But the highlight was the great song Jalwa. And guess what? Remo sent me a message.
Hey Jazzy Joe, this is your old friend Remo Fernandez saying congratulations on your amazing collection of autographs on vinyl albums. I didn't even know that my music was out on vinyl until you came and asked me to autograph your records way back in the 1990s, I'm sure. And I'm so happy to hear that you are doing this big show on YouTube about your collection, and I wish you all the very best. Take care.
Now, isn't that so nice of him? Thanks, Remo. Thanks a lot. Wonderful message. I thank you very much. Great one. Our next pop legend is responsible for bringing disco dandiya and chutney music to the Indian music pop culture. He is the younger brother of the music director duo Kalyanji Anandji. Yes, I'm talking about Babla. Throughout the late 70s and early 80s, Babla and his orchestra created a musical revolution throughout India and then the Western world, covering famous Bollywood movie title tracks of the time and giving them the new disco touch. Babla created the disco dandiya movement, which saw him tour the world and become a household name in India. Babla also composed some music for movies like Safar, Dawn, Mukaddar Ka Sikandar, Johnny Mera Naam, Kurbani, and others. However, it is in his work in the chutney genre that Babla and his wife Kanchan will really be remembered for hit albums like Kaise Bani and Kuch Gadbad Hai. For Babla, it was always about the beat. As I said, along with disco dandiya, Babla will always be remembered for bringing chutney music to India. And that's why the record I want to show you, in spite of the fact that I used to play so many of his disco dandiya music CDs, in my shows. I used to do shows, dandiya shows. In spite of that, I want to show you this record of chutney music, his album Kaise Bani, Babla and Kanchan. And why this record is special is because it has the autograph of both Babla and Kanchan. This is a record made in Holland and was the first album of chutney music in India, and it was very, very famous because it had amazing tracks like Chadar Bichhao, Aaj Savariya Sasur Ghar Jana, Hum Na Jaibe Sasur Ghar Mein, Raate Sapna, Chal Gaye, and the very, very popular hit Kaise Bani. Our next legend is known as the Queen of Indie Pop. She has been a part of many soundtracks, many movie soundtracks, and her first album came out in 1985, and her most famous album has been made in India. Enough clues. I think you know whom I'm talking about. Alisha Chennai. Alisha's initial albums include Jadgu, Baby Doll, Alisha, and the famous Made in India. She was introduced to Hindi film music by music director and composer Bappi Lahiri, but her best known songs were with Anu Malik and Biddu during the 1990s. Made in India went on to become one of the highest selling pop albums of its time, and Alisha became a household name. Her popular Bollywood songs were in the movies Tarzan, Dance Dance, Mr. India, Jalwa, Commando, Guru, Love Love Love, Ram Lakhan, Tridev, Raja Hindustani, Bunty or Bubbly, Dhoom 2, and Krish 3. I met Alisha when she came to my club, My Kind of Place, where I was a resident DJ, Taj Palace Hotel, New Delhi. She came there to perform one night, and that's where I met her for the first time. And the record I want to show all of you with her autographs is her first album, which was Jadgu. This was her first album, and the music was by Anu Malik. And now we come to a legend who started her career at the age of 10 and was known as the Queen of Pop in South Asia. She and her brother both were known as pioneers of the pop scene in this region. I'm talking about Nazia and Zoeb Hassan. Nazia and Zoeb Hassan were one of the most successful Asian pop duos of all time, selling more than 65 million albums worldwide. Nazia first gained fame with the single Aap Jaisa Koi, featured in the film Kurbani, followed by the duo's debut album Disco Diwane, released in 1981 and produced by Biddu. The album was and still is the best-selling pop album of Southeast Asia. This was followed by albums Boom Boom, Young Tarang, Hotline and Camera Camera. The government of Pakistan has conferred upon Nazia the highest national civilian award, Pride of Performance. Now, I did not meet Nazia or Zoe Basan, but I have one of their top albums, which is Young Tarang. You can see this album is signed both by Nazia and by Zoe, and it was one of the greatest albums because it had wonderful songs like Aag, Dum Dee Dum, Chehra, Aankhein Milane Wale, and it also featured an instrumental dance medley of her hits from Disco Diwane. Our next pop legend is best known for his distinct voice, dance moves, long flowing robes, colorful turbans, and is responsible for making Bhangra pop and indie pop famous all over the world. Yes, I'm talking about Daler Mehndi. An Indian singer, songwriter, author and record producer, Daler's debut album Bolo Tarara sold over 20 million copies and established him as a pop star. His second album, Dardi Rab Rab, surpassed the sales of his debut album, and his third album, Balle Balle, also went multi-platinum like the first two, followed by Tunak Tunak Tun, cementing Mehendi's status as India's biggest pop star at the time. He is also known for his hit songs from the movies Mrityu Data, Arjun Pandit, Makbul, Rang De Basanti, Gol, Singh is King, Action Replay, Bhag Milka Bhag, Dangal, and Bahubali 2. I met Daler Mehndi after being a fan of him for many years, again more than 25 years, and it was wonderful to meet him, especially because he loved all the records. He spent so much time looking at them and appreciating them, and he signed each one that I had taken. And the one I want to show you is this one, Rang De Basanti. It's a wonderful soundtrack. As you can see, there are other autographs too. Other singers have signed it also. But this was a great soundtrack, and I think one of the highlights of the soundtrack was the title track by Daler Mehndi and Chitra, Rang De Basanti. And now we come to a legend who started with rock music but gave India its own medleys, disco medleys with snippets of old super hit tracks from Bollywood stitched together into a disco beat, something like the Star Zone 45 from the Western world. I am talking about Nandu Banerjee. A theatre artist, singer, music composer and producer, Nandu Banerjee was one of the pioneers of rock music in India. Banerjee sang with 1970s bands such as Velvet Fog, Brief Encounter and Savage Encounter. He later on did roles in theatre productions of Jesus Christ Superstar, Tommy, Fantastics and Jaya. He was also a playback singer in Bollywood films, his most famous work being in the 1982 musical Disco Dancer, for which he received a gold disc. In 1980, he produced the very successful pop dance albums Disco Dunia and Disco Nasha, followed by two more lively disco albums, Disco Zamana and Disco Maza. These were all disco medleys of old Bollywood hits and contributed to the pop culture of the time. I met Nandu Banerjee at his studio in Mumbai. I got his number from a friend of mine, and I called him and I said, "Can I meet you when I come to Mumbai?" He said, "Yeah." So I found out his studio and met him there, and he was so delighted to see all his records, and he signed all of them one by one. He was very happy to sign for me, and the record I want to show you is this one. This is Disco Dunia, autographed by him. This is his first disco medley album. That's why it's special. It had two medleys. On the first side, there was Hits of the Decade, which had many super hit tracks, old super hit tracks put to a disco beat. And on side B, it was Shami Kapoor hits. Hits of Shami Kapoor, again put to a disco beat. Our next legend was the original pop star of Hindi music that wasn't related to Hindi films. She achieved popularity in the Hindi pop and disco music scene. I'm talking about Sharon Prabhakar. Sharon Prabhakar first produced Obsession 77, an album by psychedelic and hard rock band Atomic Forest. In 1980, her first album, Feeling Good, was released, but she really rode the disco wave, singing hits in later albums like Chal Disco Chal, What a Wonder, Disco Mastana, London Calling, Shabash Sharon, Pyar Chalke, Shararat, and Suno Suno. She also got the Best Singer of the Year award for her song in the film Arman. I met Sharon recently in Mumbai. She's doing theatre now. She's a theatre personality. And I got her number. I called her up and said, I have some of your records. Can I get them autographed? She said, yeah, come to Mumbai. I'll do it. So I met her, and the same day she had a performance. So I met her at the theatre, and I went there, and before the performance, she met me, and I got the record signed. This is the record that I want to show you. This was her first, I should say, disco album. It was with her and Musrat singing tracks. The music was by Peter Moss and Deepak Kanjanchi. And this was one of the first albums of the disco wave in India. Our next legend lives in Birmingham, England, and he was listed in the 2000 Guinness Book of Records as the biggest selling Bhangra solo artist of all time. I'm talking about Malkit Singh. Malkit Singh MBE is the first Punjabi singer to be honoured with an MBE by Queen Elizabeth II at Buckingham Palace. His song Tutak Tutak Tutiya was the fastest selling and most successful Bhangra song ever from his 1990 album, which sold 2.5 million records, a record for Bhangra indie pop at that time. He is also famous for the hit song Gur Nalo Ishq Mitha, Kuri Garam Jai, Deghli Vilayat, Chal Hun, and Jind Mahi. Especially his collaboration with DJ Bali Sagu on Gur Nalo Ishq Mitha has given the world an all-time classic dance floor track. I met Malkit Singh ji when he came for a show to Delhi, and it was a pleasure to meet him after all these years and to show him all the records. He was so excited like a child, and the record I want to show you is this one. Malkit Singh Golden Star sings Gal Sunja, the album. I love this record. It's got a wonderful photograph of him. He's autographed it, saying good luck to Jazzy Joe. Once again, we've reached the last legend for this episode. Last but definitely not the least. This pop legend has changed the dance music scene with his remixes and remakes, and he has changed the DJ scene totally for Indian DJs who are highly inspired by him, and I'm a big fan. I'm talking about Bali Sagu. A British Indian record producer, Bali Sagu entered the music industry in 1989 with a remix of the Malkit Singh track Hey Jamalo. The single became a hit, and Bali followed it up with his first album, Wham Bam, which became a success and spawned a sequel, Wham Bam 2. Then came the 1991 collaboration with Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan Saab, Magic Touch, which was a hit album too. But he became a household name with the remake of Chura Liya in his next album, Bollywood Flashback. hits like Dil Cheez, Tum Bin Jiya, Mera Long Gawacha and Noori followed. Bali has performed all over the world and is easily a legend in the world of pop music. I met Bali Jaggu about 4 times, and once was at my club at Taj Palace Hotel where I was a resident. He came after renovation to launch the new place, which had new equipment and everything. Same old DJ, but new ambience and new equipment. So he came on the launch night, and it was a pleasure to see him play. And then I think for 2-3 years we followed each other on New Year's Eve. We would be playing in the same city. And I remember once we were in Pune on New Year's Eve, and then after the show we went. We were supposed to be in the same flight. The flight didn't take off from Pune because of fog and fog in Delhi. So suddenly I'm at the airport. The flight is cancelled. The luggage is coming back, and I'm taking my luggage, and suddenly I see a record box, a vinyl box, and I'm wondering which other DJ is here and who's here who plays vinyl, and suddenly I see Bali come and pick up the box, and I'm like, hey Bali, hi, and we got together and partied and all, but I met him at Delhi to get my records autographed again recently, and again he looked at them with so much joy, and he told me the story behind each one of his albums, each one of his singles. And the record I want to show all of you is this one. I want to show this one because this is the album that made me a fan of Bali Jaggu. It has 6 tracks: Mele Vich Ai, Penga Pyar Diya, Lag Tuno Tuno, the famous Hey Jamalo, Wham Bam, and the track which I loved the most was the Star Mega Mix, where he put a lot of songs from his father's cassettes to Western beats and started the remix fever. And now we come to the end of this episode, and I hope you had fun. If you did, please like, share and subscribe to my channel so that I can continue to make such videos with much more fun, information and autographs. To all my collector friends, happy collecting, and to all of you, thanks a lot for watching, and I hope you join me again in the next episode for much more fun, another top 10 and many more autographs. Till then, take care, all the best.